Welcome to my coaching of strength and exercises. Today we will be going over a couple basic exercises that some people don't get all the time. Some people, they feel hard doing them. The first exercise is going to be the push-up, and the second exercise is going to be the sit-up. So today we're going to be going over correct form on how to do these exercises to make it so you reduce the risk of injury, and also we're going to be going over a few variations that will help some of the people that don't know how to do, who can't do these exercises this way, help them out to make them easier for them. All right, thanks. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay. To perform a proper push-up, we're going to start with correcting his feet. His feet are way too far apart. We're going to want him to scoot these in to barely right next to each other or slightly apart. Next, we're going to talk about his butt. It's a little bit too high. It's like you want your back and your butt to be all in one straight line with your feet. Also, you want to want your head up, so your neck is in alignment with your back and your butt, straight down to your legs. Next, you want your arms to be in a space right underneath your shoulders, directly underneath your shoulders, but also right outside of them, so that when you go down, your arms are coming straight in and not flaring out. Because when you go down in a push-up, you want your muscles that are activated, you want your triceps and your chest to be engaged while also pinching your back directly. Now, if you could, please perform a couple push-ups for us. Yes, those are perfect push-ups. This is how a proper push-up is supposed to be performed. Any person that cannot perform a regular push-up, this would be a variation or a beginner's push-up for anybody who's not actually been in fitness for a while, or someone who just doesn't have a stronger upper body yet. So for this push-up, you're going to start out on your knees. You're going to want your same butt and your back in the same alignment. You're going to still want your shoulders right inside your shoulders, and you want to also keep your head and neck in alignment with the rest of your body. So if he could perform a couple of the beginner push-ups for us. Thank you very much. So this next exercise we're going to discuss is the sit-up. To perform a proper sit-up, you're going to want to start with your back and your feet on the ground, your butt on the ground, and you're going to want to have a slight bend in your knees. So also, when you're doing a sit-up is a core workout where you're bringing your head and your upper body, your torso, to your legs. So what you want to start, you want to have your arms, or your hands and your arms slightly on your head, grabbing the back of your head. You're going to want to pull your chest and your neck up to your thighs. If you could perform one of these before me, I would be grateful. Thank you. One more for me. Form a proper sit-up. Different variation of the sit-up, because some people have a hard time doing it by themselves, where their feet slide out or their butt slides. So another variation would be if you would have a partner. So I'm going to act as his partner today, and he's going to get into the sit-up position. So as his partner, since his feet are sliding, you would get down and you would hold his feet hard, like push hard down on his feet, and then he would perform a sit-up, and it would make it easier for him to sit up, because his feet are not, he's not worrying about his feet sliding everywhere or his butt sliding forward. Keep going. And that would make it a lot easier, and that is a different variation of this. Final exercise that I'm going to be going over today, we're going to talk about the lunge. It's kind of like a lower body exercise. So for the lunge, what you want to do is you're going to start with your feet together. This is a sideways view of it. You want to start with your feet together, and you're going to step out, and you're going to drop your knee to the ground. You're going to want this front leg to be left, like right 90 degrees and not over your toes. You're going to want this back knee to also be at a slight 90 degrees, but you don't want it to touch the ground. That's going way too low. So also, for this exercise, you're going to be feeling it in your hamstrings and your quads, and you want to stretch through your hips. Let me try it again. So when you're going to be pushing through your hips, you're going to want your chest up and your back straight and your head up. And when you come back, you want to push off that front leg back to standing straight up. A different variation of the lunge that you could do if you maybe don't have good hip flexors or full range of motion in your knee. So a different variation of it would be to not go down as far as the regular lunge, but to keep both feet flat on the ground with a staggered stance, pushing your hips forward and slightly dropping your knee, so you're still getting that stretch in your hips and in your quads. So this is a different variation of the lunge that is much easier to do for people who maybe have bad hips and bad knees. All right, guys, so just to finish off this video, so just a little recap on what I just discussed in this video. So what I really want to point out is whenever you're doing workouts, or even if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate or an expert at this stuff, whatever level you get to eventually, you gotta focus on doing workouts properly. If you're not doing them properly, there's no need to be doing them at all. So first off, for when you're doing push-ups, make sure you're keeping that neck, spine, and your butt on line with your legs and your feet, keeping that core tight, keeping them arms in the correct position, keeping them pushed when you're going down. Make sure you're keeping them tight to yourself, and make sure you have a good extension at the top as well. That goes for the same for the variation push-ups. And whenever you're doing those, try to push yourself to do more than you think you would do normally, because you're doing a variation of them. I mean, do as many as you can in the first place, but also try to get more. Secondly, whenever we're talking about an ab workout like the sit-ups, we wanna make sure that we're actually hitting those correctly, and we're also, the whole time you're hitting abs or you're focusing on your core, doing a core workout, you want to make sure you're keeping those abdomens tight. Doing the sit-ups, make sure if you got a partner that holds your legs down, that makes it so much easier. Yeah, that was a variation to it, but it does make it easier for anybody, even an expert. So also, whenever you're doing a sit-up, make sure you're keeping your hands lightly on the back of your head. You don't want to be pulling on that neck too much. You want to pull through your head, but your head and your chest should both be coming up to your legs first, not your elbows. Secondly, whenever we're talking about an ab workout like the sit-ups, we wanna make sure that we're actually hitting those correctly, and we're also, the whole time you're hitting abs or you're focusing on your core, doing a core workout, you want to make sure you're keeping those abdomens tight. Doing the sit-ups, make sure if you got a partner that holds your legs down, that makes it so much easier. Yeah, that was a variation to it, but it does make it easier for anybody, even an expert. So also, whenever you're doing a sit-up, make sure you're keeping your hands lightly on the back of your head. You don't want to be pulling on that neck too much. You want to pull through your head, but your head and your chest should both be coming up to your legs first, not your elbows. For our last workout, I want to talk about the lunges. The lunges, they were kind of thrown in there. I didn't bring them up in the intro, but I threw them in there because lunges are a good lower body workout that help people. They help people. They help with your quads. They help with your hamstrings. They help with your hips. They help with to help stick your chest out, and to make sure you're sticking your chest out during a lot of workouts. When you're doing lunges, make sure you're keeping that front knee that you're lunging with back behind those toes, making sure that knee is at a 90-degree angle when you drop down, and making sure that back knee is not hitting the ground. Remember, that is really deep, and it can be bad, especially if you smack that knee. Finally, this video was done by me. My name is Derrick Taylor. I'm doing this video for a coaching class that I take at Ohio University. The video was to make a coaching or instructional video about of our choosing, and I wanted to give a shout out to my professor, Ashley Allison. Shout out to him. Also, give a shout out to my helpers today, my friends Josh and Cameron. They came in, they helped me do the push-up and the sit-ups demonstration. I wanted to thank those guys for coming through. It's my first video on YouTube, so like and subscribe to the video. Share it with your friends. I mean, I don't know how helpful it is. I mean, you probably already know the basics, but, you know, share it. I would really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.